Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome to Cruising the World with Jackie if it's your first time. I'm Jackie. I have a tiny little YouTube channel about traveling with my husband. We're retired, we're from Maryland. We do cruising, we do RV life, we do boat life. So, welcome. Like and subscribe, it really helps a tiny little channel like mine out. Just today, we're kind of going out of sequence. We were doing the whole cruising on the MSC, but we had some stuff that happened the last week, and I wanted to get that up first because it's kind of time sensitive. It's about Ian and all that, so we're going to concentrate on that today. Sorry about that. And then we'll be back to Davina in a couple days. So I put a couple shorts out there. But let me explain what happened. So we went camping last week, and we were making our way back to Maryland on Friday. Now, we live on the eastern shore of Maryland, which is surrounded by the Chesapeake Bay. So we were in Virginia. So the easiest way for us to get home is to go over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, which is by Norfolk, up to the eastern shore of Virginia, and then to Maryland. It's a 2 hour, 2:15 minutes from that bridge to our house. Easy peasy. Excuse me. Easy way to travel. So we had been at a Corps of Engineers campground near the Virginia, North Carolina border in the central state. We decided because we knew it was going to start to rain because of the starting of Ian. Wasn't really Ian. We didn't really get hit with that, but the aftermath was going to start raining. So we decided to go as close as Norfolk as we can. So the next day we just had to go over and we'd be home in 2.5 hours. Bad mistake. We'll never do that again. So, like I said, we're on the eastern shore of Maryland. We're surrounded by the ocean and the bay, Chesapeake Bay. There's only two ways to get there from the south. One is the Chesapeake Bay Tunnel, which is near Norfolk, and one is the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is by Annapolis. They're your two options. The only other way is you go up around Baltimore, around into Delaware, around the bay, and back down. So, Friday morning, we get up. Thursday night, we go to Chesapeake, Virginia, which is a little south of Norfolk. All's good. It's raining. It's a little windy. Doesn't seem to be that bad. So we decide to stay there for the night. Get up the next morning. 2.5 hours, we'll be home. So Friday morning, we get up. We leave the campground around 10 o'clock. Another mistake. And we drive to the bridge tunnel in about 40 minutes. We get up to the toll booth and they said, you can't go across. It's closed to RVs, trucks, cube vans. You got to go and turn around. Okay, that was a nightmare too because the turnaround was on the left-hand side across all the toll booths. But anyway, we made it safe. Norfolk traffic to us is crazy, 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 crazy. So we did that. So now we have to go to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is approximately another 4 hours away. So we pull over, we look at all that, we talked about, should we wait to see if the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, which we just got turned around, will open up. But we looked at the weather. It didn't look like it was going to get less windy anytime soon. The strange thing about that tunnel is, well, it's a bridge, then it's a tunnel, it's a bridge, it's a tunnel. I have actually 2 videos on it. The video that's the most recent is much better than the first one. But it's very low. Like, it's probably only, somebody's going to laugh because I'm really bad at just determining that stuff. But I'd say at some points it's more than just about 20 feet off of the water. Um, so where the Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel is really high. I don't know how high it is, but it's really high. So we thought, okay, we'll get to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. So we started driving. It was very stressful. It was very windy. I have 2 shorts about the Hampton Bridge. We were stuck on there. It was extremely scary. I don't think the shorts turned out that well. It's only second time I was doing shorts. But it was really scary. The waves were crashing right up against the bridge. We're very high. We could feel the wind. It felt like the bridge was moving. We were moving. It was not fun at all. I was afraid we were going to be stuck there for a long time. But it was a very stressful drive. So we wound up going about 5 hours right before the Bay Bridge. Second mistake, we didn't go over the Bay Bridge that night, but we were exhausted. My husband was stressed. He has a heart condition. I did not want to put him through any more stress of going over that bridge in the dark with winds. But it was a mistake. Because the next morning, guess what? The Bay Bridge was closed to us, to RVs, cube vans, motorhomes, RVs. It was closed to us. So then we had to go from that area all the way up around Baltimore and back down Delaware. So a trip that should have taken us 2.5 hours on Friday we got home Saturday around 2:30. A nightmare. So I'm going to post that, all that. Stay tuned and watch. I'll have the actual camping, what we did in the camping, probably after the cruise. But I want to get this information out because it is interesting and it does talk about Ian. And like I said, we learned a couple things. If there's bad weather and we're close to these 2 bridges, we need to go over them and wait out the weather on the other side. We did wind up boondocking, which we hadn't done yet, so that's fun too. So enjoy, like and subscribe. It helps my little tiny channel out, and it costs you nothing. Thank you. Our vacation's almost over. We're on our way to our last stop before home, which is in Chesapeake, Virginia. What do you think, Bri?
I think I can do another 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, unfortunately we can't. We have to go and get my mom. So we can't do 2 more weeks, but yeah, we could do more time on the road, definitely.
Yep.
And our Sammy girl there, and Brady, who's standing on my table, they enjoyed their time too. Sammy especially, she likes to be outside. You can see this, but this is the bay by Norfolk. I mean, whitecaps, craziness, totally crazy.
Get a shot up at where it's hitting over the bridge. See it?
Yeah, it's coming right up to the bridge. We couldn't go on the Chesapeake Bay Tunnel. Now we're going on a tunnel over to Hampton. We've got to go all the way around. I'm not even sure how long it's going to take us to get home. To go the Chesapeake Bay Tunnel is only 2.5 hours to get home. We got to go through Richmond, up 95 or 301, through Baltimore. Chesapeake Bay Tunnel, Chesapeake Bay Bridge is closed too for RVs and trucks. So then we'll have to go all the way up Harford County and around. I'll have to show you. I'll have to put a map out there how bad that is. I don't know. Hopefully you can see the waves are actually hitting the bridge, underneath the bridge. I've never seen anything this bad.
Close this soon if it gets bad.
Yeah, my husband's saying he thinks they'll close this soon too. We just really need to get over, if we get over to Hampton, we can go up to Richmond. We'll be on 95. Then there are a couple bridges we have to face when we get closer to Washington, D.C. I think this is an 8-hour trip and maybe even more versus a 2-hour trip, 2.5-hour trip. I've never seen whitecaps like this in the bay.
Wow, it is actually hitting the top of the bridge.
Okay, so we're stuck on the Hampton Bridge Tunnel. We've been here for a little while. It is really shaking. It's scaring me. I did a short and it was okay because we were still moving. But now we've been stuck here for at least 5 minutes, seems like an hour. And the RV is shaking like crazy. The waves are big. It's scary. We're moving. It said plus 13. I think it was, what do you think, Brian? 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And it was scary. Brian's much calmer than I was. We just need to get across here and up the road a little bit, close to Richmond, out of this low-lying area with the water, and we're gonna stop for the night. I've had to make arrangements with my son to take my mom. Thank you, Billy. But this is too dangerous. Way too dangerous for us in this motorhome. Look over here. Jeez, oh whizzy. It's scary. We're going down in the tunnel now. So it's our first night at a Crackle Barrel. We tried several campgrounds. We're trying to get ahead of the hurricane in Virginia. The winds were incredible. They closed the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, which is our way home. The other way, we have to go all the way around DC, Baltimore. Hope that the other Bay Bridge is open. But it's like 8 additional hours. So we've been on the road for a long time. All the campgrounds were full. There was one that wasn't full, and that's a whole different story. It was not safe for us to stay there. So we're on Crackle Barrel, and we will boondock it for the night. I don't know what my husband's doing. Oh, he's having trouble locking the... I think he just gave us the... So we had dinner at Cracker Barrel, and now we're back in for the night. So this is our first time really boondocking it. We've done Harvest Host and that kind of stuff, but in a parking lot, this is it. So I wanted to take the... I didn't want to put the windshield cover on, because if something happened in the night, you can't see, right? You would be driving. You can drive, but you wouldn't see anything because you'd have to get out to get the cover. So we just had this extra blanket in case it got cold, so I just dropped that down so nobody can see in. And we feel pretty safe, and we've got this big dog here to protect us, right, Sammy? Yeah, Sammy says she'll protect us, but we feel good. So, don't we, Bri?
Very good. Long day of driving.
Yeah, it was an awful day of driving. With the storm coming, it was so windy, we couldn't go over the bridge tunnel. We had to go all the way around. We're only halfway there. We got to go over another bridge tomorrow, we're hoping, and it's opened. So, I'm going to go to sleep early tonight.